Hey, welcome back. It's Uncle Mike, and today we've got a special guest. We're going to do a segment called the Coach's Corner, and Coach Adam Leonard, the head coach of the Bellingham Bayhawks, is going to join us. He's going to join us every week. We're going to do a little pregame here before the game starts. Today we're watching Cleveland, and the Bellingham Bayhawks take the field. Cleveland only won one game last year, but our Bayhawks only won 2 games last year, so it could be a battle. Some local folks think that we're not going to win, but we're not going to talk about those folks. We're going to talk about some folks today that think we're going to win, and we really appreciate Watcom Preps. Watcom Preps is going to be a big part of our program. When you're done watching us, go to Watcom Preps website and look at all of the statistics of today's game and be a part of the Watcom Prep family. Make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you share our YouTube channel with all of your family members, and make sure you subscribe, follow us, ring the bell, get the notifications. All that stuff is so important to us. We're doing this to bring you guys some content kind of like you've never seen before. So this year we're going to do varsity home games, varsity away games. We're going to do some JV game home and away, and we're trying to squeeze in, have had some requests to do a couple C-team games. So we'd like to give a little bit of love to everybody in our Bayhawk football program. Make sure you stick around, visit our sponsors. We're going to talk about sponsors all the time. If you're interested in sponsoring or helping, there'll be a QR code, also a Venmo opportunity to be able to share some love with us and support some of the things that we're doing. Again, Uncle Mike, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're doing our very first segment of the Coach's Corner, easy for me to say. The head coach of the Bellingham Bayhawks, Adam Leonard. Coach, it's great to have you with us.
Oh, it's great to be here. Really excited about this, Mike.
So we're going to do this every week. We're going to have Coach for a couple minutes, ask him a few questions, try to get to know him a little better, but more importantly, kind of dig into what's going to happen during the ball game this week. So first off, let's just start by, let's talk a little bit about you. I've known you for years. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm in the second season right now as head coach of the Bellingham Bayhawks. I've spent 25 years in coaching sports, football, basketball, baseball, much like yourself, Mike. Long time. I haven't coached the high school level for football since I worked at Westmark School in Los Angeles, California, where I was an assistant head coach, offensive coordinator. I was also the athletic director at Westmark School, a small school in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. So it's been 22 years before I was coaching high school football, but I've kept my days and my nights busy with coaching youth sports. I've been president of Bellingham Youth Football now for the last 8 years, coaching before that against you, I might say, back in the old Whatcom County Boys and Girls Club days.
Yeah,
I've been president of Bellingham Youth Football, the Bellingham Knights, for many years, since 2018, and I've been also coaching some of our youth teams as well. So I've been involved with football for the last 25 years. I'm involved with AU basketball, high school basketball, college basketball. Yeah. I'm the assistant coach on the baseball team here at Bellingham High School, so kind of a jack of all trades.
And you have a regular day job, right?
I do have a regular day job. I actually work at Western Washington University. That's my main job. So I do that up until we have practice time in the afternoon. And luckily I have evenings free to work with these great young men out here.
Very good. And right behind us, if you see through the camera a little bit, this is part of Coach Leonard's up-and-coming Bayhawks. Got a lot of guys playing football right now, Coach. Probably the most we've ever had in Bellingham High School history. I went to Bellingham High School 40 years ago. We were lucky if we had 55 kids out. How many kids you got out this year?
Well, if you go to my final forms, which is the kind of the registrar of how many kids have signed up, we're in the 90s right now, like 95, 96 kids. We have some kids that have had to step back. Some kids are still new, and we haven't even had the first day of school yet. So you will probably get those kids that show up the first day and go, hey, when's football start?
Right.
Well, it started months ago, but we can get you caught up to speed as quickly as possible. We are going to have 3 teams this year. We're going to have 2 sub-varsity teams. We're going to have a JV team. We're going to have a freshman team, a C team. You put some sophomores on there, but mostly C team guys, and then we'll have our varsity team. So I believe we have the most numbers in the city for participants in football, which makes me very excited. And in year 2, this is a program that even a few years ago barely could get 38 to 40 kids, and now we're in the 90s. It's quite impressive.
And I know that that's what you've wanted to do. I mean, I talked to you last year when you first came to Bellingham, and your whole thought process was you wanted to build a program. What are you doing to build that program? I mean, you got the kids out now. I mean, I think you've almost got as many kids, from what I've heard through the grapevine, as Linden does this year. And they suit 100 kids. You know, they make everybody a part of it. Tell me what you're doing to build the program.
Well, you mentioned Linden. Linden's a great example of a community that really supports their sports programs. They've always had big numbers, and I think it's a little more difficult too when you have 3 teams in a city. But for our area of Bellingham, we are really growing this program. I think it's about having contagious positivity with football, excitement about it. Luckily, we have a couple new faces that are pretty big names in the football world with Jesse Harwood and Josh Leonard coming over to play their senior year. It builds excitement, it builds anticipation, and it gets people wanting to come out. You get more people in the stands at Civic, more people get excited about football, and when you're in these hallways over at Bellingham High School, people are talking Bayhawk football. And that just makes it grow. These kids behind me, too, that are zoned to go to Bellingham, they're excited about it. They get to watch the kids. They're going to come to games on Saturday. They're going to watch their high school brothers play and their friends, and it's going to just make them want to be part of it. And success breeds success. The more success we can have, both with bigger numbers and more positivity on the football field, more people are going to be part of that. I think, and I don't think that's just limited to football. I think you're going to start seeing in our baseball program. We have a very young, talented baseball program, and our basketball program, and our other sports here. We have just some phenomenal athletes walking the halls here at Bellingham High School, and now they're finally coming out to play football.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, tell me some of the goals for your team this year. You mentioned a couple guys, both near and dear to both you and I. Tell me some other guys. Tell me some of the goals you have. What do you want to accomplish? It's tough playing in the independent league. Being independent and not being in a league as the Whatcom County 2A schools are. And I know that's from years past when you only had 25 kids turning out, had 8 when the season ended. You'll probably end with 80-some this year, so that's awesome. So give me some of your goals.
Well, our goals are to come out and compete every day. Every day at practice, every day we walk on the field to play a game. We're out here to compete. We're out here to give it our all, and we're out here to make each other better every day, especially at practice. Personally, we take it 1 week at a time. Obviously, I have in the independent schedule, there is a path to the playoffs, and that path is to go 9-0 undefeated and get a play-in opportunity, a playoff game. A play-in game, whatever you want to call it, that's a playoff game.
You bet.
And I feel like we have a path to get there. We just need to not look ahead of ourselves. We need to look at it. Right now, we're looking at Cleveland High School on Saturday. That's our first opponent, and that's all we're focusing on. Going 1-0 this week, getting after Cleveland, and at the same time, we see our JV and C teams. Obviously, we want to be super competitive. We want to win football games, but those are our areas where we want to see our development. We want to see, hey, we want to see this guy here develop at the C team level. We want to see this person here develop at the JV level. There's situations where we'll send a JV varsity player down to get more reps to see that at the JV level, so we can see what they can do, in maybe the next week. But our goals are to come together, keep our numbers up, stay healthy, be competitive, and take each week 1-0. Hopefully get to that 9-0 mark and get to the playoffs.
I think you can do it. I mean, my heart's with you. So, everything else. I mean, people find out right away that, I've always bled red and white. You brought a little black to the program as we wear black uniforms Saturday. But your coaching staff, you got just an unbelievable, well-rounded coaching staff. I've not seen a high school program that has got the depth in a coaching staff that you have. Tell me a little bit about your staff.
Well, we're very blessed and fortunate to have just a deep staff, a great personnel, great football minds, but just great men who are coming around. Our defensive coordinator and associate coach is Mark Jacks. Mark comes to us from Squalicum High School, where he's coached the last few years under Coach Lucy. He also works in our building as a career advisor, so he's a person who's in-house that we can rely on also for recruiting kids out of the high school to get them to come play football. He's a great person. Our special teams coordinator and an assistant coach is Cameron Burley. Cam's also our head wrestling coach. Cam's another guy who's really hustles inside camp. Cam is a campus monitor, another person on campus that we rely on to bring kids in and keeps an eye on to make sure they stay out of trouble. They're getting to class and getting their work done and doing all the right things in the classroom. Our offensive line coach is Gavin Quagnas. Gavin, I've known for many years with youth ball. Gavin's a former Western Washington University football player, former O lineman, all conference player at Marysville. I mean, just a heck of a football player and a heck of a person. He works at the Western Washington University Foundation, and he's out here with us working as our O-line coordinator. Going down the list, we have John Cavalier. John's son, Morgan, played here. Was a heck of an athlete at Bellingham High School. Played football at Simon Fraser University. John's coaching our C team. John works with special teams, receivers. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. All right, he's a jack of all trades. Nate Hanstead. Nate Hanstead went to Squalicum High School. He's a former quarterback there. I believe Josh Leonard broke all his records last year in his junior year, but Nate is now Nate coaches with us. His son is on the team. He's one of our quarterbacks coaches. We have Donovan Dunmore. Donovan's actually behind me right now coaching with our 9 and 10-year-old group right now. Donovan, a former semi-pro player, recruited pretty heavily out of high school, didn't go play college football, but ended up playing semi-pro football as a running back and a linebacker. He is our running backs coach right now too, and he works with our corners, a position coach. Mark Wright, oh my gosh, everybody knows Mark Wright.
Mark
I think
Wright,
Mark's
yeah.
been coaching since the dawn of time.
Yeah,
and
especially here.
Yeah, so he coaches basketball, he coaches football, he's coached golf, he coaches it all. He's another one of those jack of all trades and can get it done. He's worked with our younger guys and some of our receivers. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Oh, we have Coach Mike Buttonshone. Yeah. So Coach Buttonshone, we have Mike's son, Christian Buttonshone. Both work with our defensive line, our offensive line. Mike is an anchor to our program because he used to be the Booster Club president, so he does a lot of work with our Bellingham high school community and fundraising, and he's kind of the glue that keeps it all together. So Mike's been, and his boys actually went through our program too, and his son just got done playing over at Simon Fraser before they cut their program. Yeah. So
who's your C-team coach?
C-team coach is John Cavalier, and our JV coach is going to be Donovan Dunmore.
Very good. So you got just a great staff. Let's talk a little bit about Cleveland real quick before we call it an evening. Last year you put a licking on them. Mm-hmm. They won one game last year. They're in a tough conference down there in Seattle. Tell me a little bit about what we're going to see.
Well, the one thing with Cleveland is you really don't know what you're going to see. They're kind of a mystery. I was reading Prep Red Zone the other day, and they were doing the quarterback review for the 3A, which is the conference in the Metro League, which is the conference they play in Seattle. And they were the only team that said, do not know who the quarterback is going to be. So they're a little bit of a mystery. All we know about Cleveland is their numbers are a little bit low, but they'll bring out a couple players that look like they're going to be playing at the University of Oregon in the next couple of years, or the University of Washington. They will have athletes, and they'll be very athletic. They might be. You just don't know what you're going to get, but you have to be prepared for everything. You have to be prepared for a team that's going to come out there when you're in special teams and kickoff. There might be a guy out there that's just the fastest guy you might see this year. They'll have one of those guys, but we need to be prepared for that, and we need to make sure that we are ready for the unexpected, because we don't know much about Cleveland. We know about when we played them last year. We're going to make a lot of assumptions. They're going to do similar things, same coaching staff, but you don't know what new guys moved into the West Seattle area and are playing for them. Yeah.
And I've known you for a long time, so I know you're tearing apart film, you're crunching all sorts of different things. Right. Let's learn a little bit about yourself. So, are you superstitious in any way?
I actually am a little bit. I think a lot of my superstition tendencies went away a long time. I'm a person of faith and a person of prayer. Good. And I put most of my I calm myself and I center myself through that. I also love working out, and I love just having my daily routine. So I'm a routine person as well. I get anxious, I get nervous. I probably get even more nervous. I've got 2 boys in this program right now, just like you do, Mike, and so I know I might be more nervous than them. I won't be like Denzel Washington throwing up before the game, Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
But I think I will be have those butterflies. But those butterflies are usually exciting. They turn into a lot of really nervous, positive energy come game time.
Okay, last 2 questions. One, what's your favorite pregame meal? I asked the fellas. We're going to play a little something during the season about what their favorite food was. Do you have a pregame meal? Do you have something that you do before every game?
Yeah, I do have a pregame meal, but my wife cooked it on Monday, so she got there.
There you go.
It's a chicken mac and cheese.
There you go.
With a little bit of spice, a little bit of sriracha. It's one of my favorite meals. My kids' favorite meal too.
Good. So next week we're going to talk a little bit about your family and a little bit about your wife. But all I want to tell you is we're behind you. We really appreciate what you're bringing to Bellingham High School. We're bringing the old Raiders back in a Bayhawk uniform. How's that?
I absolutely love it.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Hey, and I want to let you know that this has been brought to you by Lewis Auto Glass. Lewis Auto Glass is one of our main sponsors this year, and we sure appreciate all the folks there down on State Street. If you've got a glass issue, call Lewis Auto Glass. We'll be right back.